Hi there, I'm Kathy Barker from Software Solutions, and we're looking at transforming data using Power Query inside of Power BI. What I now want to look at is combining multiple tables into a single table. And you can do this in two ways. You can either append or you can merge. Append basically means you're tacking data underneath and you're appending data to increase the size of that data set. Whereas merging is you start with so many columns and you're adding more columns and more columns and more columns. So the append is known more as a vertical merge, and the merge is known more as a horizontal merge. Okay, let's start with the append query. I want to duplicate some of these queries that we have. In the database data model group, can we please click the dim customers, Control-C, Control-V, drag that into our other queries, and can we then name this customers data, F2 customers data. Now I want to modify this table so I'm only seeing 4 columns. ID being customer ID, so let's just F2 rename that. So this one I want to show as the first column, ID. The second column is company, so I'll F2 and just rename that company. And then the third column, contact name, I'm going to press F2 and just call that name. And then the fourth column I want is phone. So that means I want to select that column right across until I hit phone. That column to that column, press the delete key, gone. That column and that column, delete, and I'm left with what I want. I need 4 columns in the order of ID, company, name, and phone, and labeled respectively. Okay, now I'm wanting to merge with that another table, which is the suppliers. So I'm going to go to dim suppliers, Control-C, Control-V, drag that duplicate into my other queries group, press F2 and name it suppliers data. I need ID, so I'm going to F2 and name that column ID. That didn't work, so I'm going to double click and put an I back in. I need to call this one company, F2, company. This one here, F2, and call that name. And then I just need phone. So I'm going to click this one, go across to phone, shift click this one, delete. This one is called phone, and I need to get rid of these columns to the right of it. That is my supplier setup. So ultimately I'm going to append the suppliers under the customers, but I also want to bring in my employees. So I'm going to click on dim employees, Control-C, Control-V, drag that query, put it into this group, rename it employees data, modify the column. I already have an employees data, close, escape. Now, can I use that employees data? Why not? So let's right click and delete that query, don't need it. Let's use this employees data. I might drag it down and put it at the bottom of the list. ID, F2, name that ID. What am I happy about this? Full name, yes, but we'll call that just name. Title of courtesy, first name, all this sort of stuff has got to go. Shift, delete, and shift, delete, and that, delete. Now this home phone here, merge columns, go into the steps. That's where we merged the home phone. Cancel that and delete that step. Delete that step. Go back to the last step, and there is my home phone and my extension. So, but that's marked up my deleting of columns. Delete the remove columns. All right, let's just look at this again. ID, name, that, delete. That is company. So that goes there, call that company. ID company name, there across to there, we delete. That we rename phone. This we do not need, delete. So I'm left with ID company phone, ID company name phone, ID company name phone, ID company name phone. This has got 91 rows according to the bottom of my screen. This has got 29, so let's just add those up. 91 plus 29 plus this one, which has got, 129 records in total. We're going to merge them vertically. So let's start with customers data, though I don't think it really matters which one you clicked on. And up here in the home tab, we've got append. And if you hit the drop down, I actually want to append them as a new table or a new query. So I'm going to append as new. Now, have you got more than 2 tables? Yes, we do. We have 3. So 3 or more tables I choose. Customers data has been added first. Let's grab suppliers data. Double click. Let's grab employees data. Double click. So we're appending 3 tables and OK. It will create a new query called append 1. And when I look down here, 129 rows, which is what I worked out on the calculator. The customers data, if I scroll down, has underneath it then appended the suppliers data, and then the last 9 records are the employees data. So if you have data in a variety of tables and you want to, as the data in those 3 tables or queries updates and you refresh, and you need a master where all 3 of them are combined into one, then you can use an append query. I'm going to call this master list. So that is my master list of all my customers, my suppliers, and my employees. Now the other type of query is a merge query, and that's not vertical, that's horizontal. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to merge the fact orders, which has got the, how many columns? According to this, 18 columns. It's got 18 columns, clear my calculator, 18, with my order details. And my order details has got 7 columns. The order details is basically what product was ordered, how many of it, and what its price was. So that's why the order number is repeated, in this case 3 times, because there were 3 products entered. Whereas in the case of this order number, it's repeated twice because there were 2 products ordered. And this one here, 3 products were ordered, and this one here, 1, 2, 3 were ordered, and this one, 1, 2, 3 were ordered. So that's why there's a one-to-many relationship between the order and the order details. But I want to show horizontally the columns and orders and the column and order details in one query. And so that's when we do a merge query. So let's hit merge queries and merge the queries as a new query. First thing it brings up is what do you want to use as your first table? So I'm going to say actually give me the fact orders. And so there's the 18 columns there, plus 7 I think we determined. And then the second table is the fact order details. And there's the columns there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, actually 5. So 18 plus 5. So we end up with 23 columns. Now the type of join is an outer join by default. So it's going to give me all the columns in the first table and only the columns in the second table where there's a match. And how would the match be determined? By a field they have in common. So I'm going to click order ID and I'm going to click order ID. That is what those 2 tables have in common. So it will give me all the records, all the orders out of the fact orders table, but only the records out of order details where there actually is an order. And there should be, really, that doesn't make any sense otherwise. So when I go OK, that has horizontally merged, and it should cause a query. Here it is, merge 1. Drag that into your other queries, and there's your merge 1, where we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and go across. These are all and then we come across to order details, fact order details here. And so if I want to see the order details that go with the orders, I just hit this little button here and that will expand it. And okay. And so now I'm seeing more than 830 records. I'm seeing all the details, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, relating to that particular order number. That order number will now be repeated. So whenever you see these sort of little buttons here, you can expand, give me information about the customers, give me information about the employees, give me information about the shippers. Order details is already capsulated in here. But that's what they call a horizontal merge. And so this particular one I want to call order and details. And I'll save. Come back for the next video.